Hello guys, welcome back in Goku Manhwa. Let's continue.
A scaled tail whipped out and smashed the earth, sending waves of sinister energy outward. Kyan reacted instantly and without hesitation, darted back. At that moment, the tail flickered like lightning and reappeared behind Kyan, trying to strike him down. Seeing this, Kyan awakened his inner force, and his gaze hardened with focus. Understanding the danger, the tail lashed once more, aiming to crush Kyan into dust. Yet surrender was not in his nature. In the next breath, his frame cloaked in celestial energy, Kyan twisted away from the strike's reach, evading destruction and proving his foe could never pin him down. A shadowy face appeared, its glare locked on Kyan. Viewing him as a sly pest unworthy of survival, the tail morphed again, sprouting a glaring mouth. Kyan stepped forward, calm and unshaken, realizing his enemy wished to drag him back into that twisted black rift dimension. Too bad. After falling once, he would never stumble twice. With resolve burning in his eyes, he tightened his grip and drew every ounce of celestial force into his fist, showing that no trick could deceive a sovereign twice. Pouring forth all his might, Kyan released a devastating strike that rocketed toward the beast. The creature narrowed its gaze, its mouth gleaming, and within a breath it devoured the strike Kyan unleashed. Enraged by this, Kyan sneered and raised his hand in mockery. A gateway opened behind him, and with a fearless grin, he waved farewell, daring the beast to come after him. The monster trembled with fury, its mouth blazing, swearing vengeance no matter the cost. Kyan only smirked with cold arrogance, stating that words could wait until it actually reached him, and for now, it was unnecessary to escort him. Without delay, Kyan rose to the surface and strode upon the waters in silence. Sinking into thought, Kyan closed his eyes, brushed back his hair, and released a long sigh. He understood the seal would never truly loosen, so resistance was pointless. Kyan lifted his arm, and crimson energy flowed from his palm. With calm intent, he chose to channel the essence of fate to trace the destiny of Dawn World. Soon after, a spectral screen unfolded, declaring that Dawn World would vanish in 7 years. Kyan froze in disbelief, uncertain of his next step. His breath quickened with unease. The countdown had fallen shorter by 1 year. He suspected his reckless defiance had provoked the ancient entity, forcing it closer to freedom. Kyan stroked his chin and sank into thought. 7 years might allow enough time to lead his people away from Dawn World. To be cautious, he considered completing the task within 3 years. Then a chilling realization struck him. What if, when unleashed, the being did not merely annihilate a single sphere? Kyan pictured countless realms and a shadowed, more devouring whole constellations or even a grand spiral arm. With dread etched in his gaze, he raised his palm again and celestial currents erupted. If that vision were true, the crisis was far beyond one world, and he must attempt another reading. As Kyan drifted above the endless waters, more screens appeared, charting the outcome of the Orion cluster. After several tense moments, one vision unfolded, foretelling that in 7 years the Dark Sovereign would descend. With the collapse of the Silver Cloud Star, the Orion cluster became the first battleground of the Shadow Domain. Witnessing this, Kyan's pupils dilated in disbelief, his heart pounding. Realizing his defiance had doomed countless lives across the cluster to lose 1 year of existence, Kyan balled his hand into a fist and stared into the waves. Soon his eyes blazed with resolve and a smirk curved across his lips. Now every step he took twisted the fate of whole galaxies, and he must carry the burden. As scarlet radiance shrouded Kyan, he gripped tighter. The vision of his homeland collapsing pierced his mind. Then the vision of the monstrous more consumed his thoughts. 7 years, only 7 fleeting years. Within that span, Dawn World would collapse. The veil dividing the shadowed realm and this cosmos would rupture entirely. The Dark Sovereign would descend, the Silver Cloud Star would shatter, and the entire Orion cluster would stand as the battlefield's edge. Kyan pictured a flame spreading through a forest. If a spark ignited the bark, those within would burn, or he could leap beyond the fire line and smother the flames, preventing devastation. Soon enough, the fire consumed the forest. The other path was to remain until nothing but ash remained. Kyan's gaze ignited with resolve, swearing to be the one who sealed the fracture, for only 2 choices lay before him. He clenched his fist firmly and stared at it, understanding that without overwhelming force, he would perish like dry wood feeding the blaze. Nightfall arrived, and Kyan drifted in thought. A Dark Sovereign strong enough to fell a galactic cluster must possess at least Tier 14 or 15. He pondered at what age the oracles predicted he would reach such strength. Kian awakened from his daze, eyes sparking with fire. He recalled 100,000 years, 7 years weighed against 100,000. With that comparison, he could only devote everything. Wasting no moment, Kian lifted his arm, and divine energy surged outward. With practiced control, Kian gathered his force, causing a leviathan beneath the waves to breach the surface. Then Kian turned toward the sigil etched in his palm, and with calm acceptance, chose to wield it. He wrenched the cursed sigil free from his hand. While curiosity lit his gaze, he pressed it into the leviathan's maw. The beast writhed, baffled by the intrusion. Its eyes warped, glowing with dread, and unholy power coursed through them. The leviathan's body twisted. Jagged fangs sprouted and limbs with cruel claws emerged. The transformation was complete. Yet instead of hostility, the beast turned toward Kian and grinned with feral loyalty. Watching closely, Kian understood the trial had succeeded. The corrupted sigil had fused with this Tier 8 monster. The leviathan crashed back beneath the waves, plunging toward the ocean floor. Kian remained wordless. He would station it below as a watcher to observe the abyssal excavation. The creature feasted on all it encountered. To Kian, the risk of failure meant little. At worst, he would lose a thread of essence, for the true core still rested within him. Meanwhile, above the surface of the azure tide, the sun blazed while a vessel sliced swiftly across the waves. Hours passed before, as his companion Lyra admired the horizon, Kian descended gently nearby and began striding toward her. Sensing his approach, her face softened with relief, and warmth filled her heart when she saw he had returned. Kian reached for Lyra's hand, gazed deeply into her eyes, and with steady affection suggested they leave for another world. Lyra's expression flickered with surprise at Kian's unexpected idea. Yet without pausing for even a heartbeat, she wrapped her arms around him, lowered her lashes, and agreed, silently promising she would follow wherever he chose. Kian embraced her firmly, understanding she was the one destined to remain by his side. When dawn arrived, Kian departed from Dawn World aboard the Prism Shuttle. He traveled across dozens of light years toward a radiant sphere. His vessel neared a blazing star that mirrored the brilliance of the sun, or filled his gaze, mingling with puzzlement, as he studied the cosmic flame. Before him burned a colossal, resplendent star resembling the very sun. As celestial energy coursed around his frame, he understood this celestial inferno was the perfect sanctuary for cultivation. And thus the tale closes here. If you wish to witness what awaits beyond, make sure to stay tuned for the coming chapter.